Hello everybody, my name is Robin0928 and welcome to the re-recording of the second Robin0928 podcast. With me, once again, is the lovely and talented...
I'm Sweetie Blue. Yes, I thought you forgot my name there for a second.
No, I did not. I mean, if I did, that'd be the worst way to start off a podcast. But
I've got some pink horse. I don't know who.
I got the pink one who's now blue on her Skype contact image.
Yes, I decided to go all opposite. I just decided to fiddle around in Photoshop and made opposite Sweetie.
Cartoons ripoff.
which looks, it does, like, it was funny. I was like, oh, look, I'm opposite Sweetie. And then I talked to Blue Rave. I'm like, oh, I look just like you.
Oh my god, it does look like Blue Rave. So like, I should probably mention
blue.
why.
You look like me.
So, I should mention why we're doing a re-recording. There are a couple reasons why, and actually I'm kind of glad that the audio corrupted, because the last time we did this last week, it got really real.
It got too real for Robin.
It got too real for the internet. Like, I don't think I could have released that one. Because, like, and no offense to anybody who gets really, to do podcasts that are really heated debate podcasts. We're not that podcast, though. Like, I just started this. Like, I'm seriously thinking about that one John Oliver thing when he was talking about the death penalty. It's like, you haven't even decided if you really like this show. Like, we're talking about the death penalty now, and basically that was what that was. Well, we're not talking about that one this time.
No.
But, Sweetie, while you introduce yourself, I actually got orange soda before the podcast.
Oh, dear.
So, while you introduce yourself, I'm going to pour myself a glass of orange soda, like I'm supposed to be doing.
The tradition continues. Yes, hello, I am Sweetie Bloom. I do things and stuff on the interwebs. And yes, we went too real for Robin, and he conveniently came back and went, well, yeah, I swear the audio's corrupted.
No, like, what happened was my computer did a shutdown, like, on Thursday. It was Tuesday my computer did a shutdown. I'm like, oh, okay, I thought I backed up the audio. And then Thursday I checked the audio, and I was like, okay, I should probably get to editing the podcast, because I haven't done that yet, because I'm an idiot. But I got to finally working on the podcast and getting it released for Friday or Saturday, and then I was pulling up Audacity, and I was like, play. This is nothing. Play. Oh god. Play. And then I was like, oh no, it's corrupted, but I didn't tell Sweetie because you're never online on the weekdays.
Yeah. So
I was going to, like, make it a private thing, but people knew I was recording a podcast with you, and people were starting to ask where it was. So that's why I put it on Twitter.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
I don't mind finding out on Twitter. There have been several things I found out on Twitter. It was funny. I like the tune put on Twitter. Oh, guess what? The Gravity Falls podcast is gonna get released. And I messaged him going, "Excuse me."
When was that recorded? Wasn't that like
March or some?
It was right after Weirdmageddon 3 aired.
Yeah, it was right after the show ended.
So, like,
and now it's in the world of irrelevance because that quote unquote lost the audio.
See, like, at least when I lose the audio, it's like a week delay. It's been 6 months since that got recorded. I wasn't even in that podcast, but I was not as big of a fan of Gravity Falls as I was, like, or it wasn't, like, as well known. I was more well known as a Gravity Falls fan after the thing aired, because I didn't get into Gravity Falls until, like, December of last year.
For shame.
It was my Christmas vacation, and for the 2 weeks, I marathoned both seasons of Gravity Falls. And, like, you can actually, if you go back that far on my Twitter, you can tell when the shift happened. Because I started posting photos of Gravity Falls, like, from season 1, and then, like, it was radio silence on the Gravity Falls front until Weirdmageddon Part 3 aired. So,
it's like when you can tell when one of your friends has joined the Hamilton trash crew.
Hamilton Chicago opened up this week. I've seen the cast already. It looks like a really good cast. I want an album with them in it, though. Like,
that's not very typical.
I know it's not typical, but the thing is I've listened to the original cast so much. I want, like, and this is never gonna happen, I want, like, yearly updates to it.
Oh, sure, are you gonna fund that?
Obviously, with my ham sandwich budget. But no, I just, like, at least for the Chicago cast, I would love to have an album with them on it. Or, like, a recording of it, like how we're gonna get the DVD. In 2 months, I believe? We're getting it I know we're getting it this year.
They're recording the DVD
they already
in Chicago?
Recorded. No,
okay.
Chicago, the original Broadway cast DVD.
I was gonna say, why would they record the Chicago cast? No offense to the Chicago cast, I'm sure you're lovely.
They're probably amazing people, but...
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And they're hilarious on Twitter, by the way. I'm following a lot of the Chicago cast on Twitter and Instagram. And they post some
don't have a problem, you do.
They put some really funny stuff on Twitter, though. Like, it's like the Sonic the Hedgehog Twitter, which is like 90% memes, and it's great.
Yeah, I think I don't remember if it was on Tumblr or Twitter, but I remember following this one thing, and it was there was this really funny video about, like, basically setting up a rehab for Hamilton trash, who cannot help whenever they hear certain words to break into song.
Yeah.
And then so anytime, like, a certain phrase, it's like, instead of breaking into song, just hold up this symbol. And it was really funny just every time. It's like, oh, we have to wait for it. And then they'd hold up the symbol. You know?
Wait for it.
It's like, oh, are you satisfied? We'd hold up the symbol.
Anytime.
And then, like, at the end, there was this, like, and then you can, refer your friends. And there was this kid who you had seen going through the quote-unquote rehab. And they were in, like, their high school history class. It's like, oh, we're going to talk about the Marquis, Lafayette. And then one of his friends goes, or he jumps up, starts singing Guns and Ships. It's like,
that's still, like, my cover of Guns and Ships still has not come out, but it's great.
For shame.
Well,
I still cannot sing Lafayette's part. I'm sorry. I can be Aaron Burr. I can be George Washington.
Now you want
I will be the background people saying Lafayette, but I can't with the no.
Want to know how intense I got? I did Guns and Ships in one take. Lafayette's part, talking like Plushy Robin. So Plushy Robin was Lafayette, and it was great.
Oh dear Lord!
It is the greatest thing I've ever recorded. In all honesty, it might be the best thing I will ever record because it was done in one take. Because I was like, I have to do this in one take, or it's not gonna work. Because like it just will wreck my voice if I do this too many times. But you want to know the hardest part of that song? George Washington is like the hardest part of that song for me, and it was really weird because all the other parts I'm singing like weird voices and I'm doing my characters. George Washington I sang as myself, and it's just the notes are hard. Like, it's hard to kind of figure out how the chord progression goes. So I hate the George Washington part.
Okay, I'll cover George Washington. You do Lafayette.
I've already gotten it done.
Because the George Washington part's pretty easy.
Yeah,
as far as I'm concerned.
It's easy, but it's way harder after you've been recording all day, and that's the last thing you do.
I'm sure.
Like, when it's the last part you did, it's really hard. But, like, I'm gonna release it at some point. That's for the 3,000 subscriber special, which is slowly but surely gonna turn into the 3,500 subscriber special.
Yay!
Hopefully, I'm now at 3.2, so that's pretty good.
Nice.
But the funny story of the week that I found literally as we were setting up the podcast, and I had not heard about this, it happened earlier this week. Stan Lee's life story to be told as an action-adventure spy movie from Fox.
Yeah.
This is a real thing. Fox has acquired the rights to Stan Lee's life story, and the movie they're making is an action-adventure spy movie.
Starring Stan Lee as himself.
They've not announced a cast.
Stan Lee as himself.
They haven't announced a cast, but the thing is, will Stan Lee have a cameo in it?
I should hope so.
Would Stan Lee have a cameo in his own movie? That'd be the greatest thing ever.
That would be so... And I want it to be, like, super meta. There are sometimes I have ideas for Stan Lee cameos that I am saddened didn't happen. Like, I was talking to people about would they have the Stan Lee cameo in Deadpool, and what I wanted for the Stan Lee cameo in Deadpool was for basically Deadpool to be like, hey Stan, what's up?
See, what I wanted for the Stan Lee cameo to not be a Stan Lee cameo. My thought was it would be like Rob Liefeld playing Stan Lee because Rob Liefeld made Deadpool. So to kind of parody the Stan Lee cameo, it would be Rob Liefeld playing Stan Lee.
Gotcha.
Like, to meta text it. But the Rob Liefeld shout-out that they made in Deadpool...
Walls.
The Rob Liefeld is actually not in Deadpool, though. He is referenced a lot, but is never in it. But the funniest reference is if you listen to the audio in the bar, you can hear one guy in the background say F. Liefeld, which is my opinion on Rob Liefeld in general. But that just made me laugh when I was in the theater. Deadpool's probably going to be on my top 10 favorite films of this year. Like,
It was pretty awesome.
Is that a doubt for most people? Like, Deadpool is going to be top 10 films for everybody. It's just that good. Like, it was like last year with Star Wars. It was exactly what I wanted. Like, all the other films last year, great movies that came out last year, most of them disappointed me in some way, shape, or form. Like, Avengers was kind of disappointing. Tomorrowland really disappointed me.
No, I didn't even bother with that one.
I watched that. It was a date that I had. We were hanging out at the mall, and our mall had a cinema, like this very small little screening in it. And it had not Deadpool, I wish, last year. It had Tomorrowland showing, and she was like, let's go watch Tomorrowland. And
he broke up with her that very same day.
It was a couple months later. It was not that far after that we broke up. But we were in the back of the theater. Which, by the way...
Hear that, ladies? He's single.
Yes, I am, actually. I'm never going to be dating anybody.
Shipping must commence.
There's some weird ships. Yes. Actually, before I get back to my story, you know that Blissy and I are shipped by some people?
That is wrong on so many
it
levels,
is.
I don't know where to begin.
Like, I get, like, the brotherly, sisterly ship that we've kind of joked about for the last 2 years or so, because we've known each other for so long. Like, I met Blissy, like, right before we met in person, and so a lot of our videos have come out after we've known each other for a while. So we are gonna have that close dynamic, but it's not, like, a shipping one. It's more of a, hey, we're best friends. Like, it's so weird whenever anybody ships us. But I can't even remember the name of the ship. It was, like, really cheesy, though. But we were at the movie theater, and we're in the back of this theater, which, by the way, was the worst theater ever. It was flat. Have you ever seen these? Like, theaters that are just flat. There's no elevation in the seating. Mm-hmm. Which is the worst thing ever, but fine. I'm here. It was, like, $4 to get tickets, since it wasn't normal movie prices, for some reason. But we got there, we sat in the back, and we were just kind of joking the entire movie. And I kind of had heard Tomorrowland was terrible. I did not know how bad it was. Like, it was that terrible. It was just... I was watching this one part of the movie. And like, the whole movie, like, because I was not silent about how much disdain I had for the film. I was vocal about it. Which, it was fine because there were, like, 2 other people in that screening. They were just like us, and they were movie nerds. And we were just kind of going back and forth, like, in this theater. And we actually would have a dialogue between the 4 people in the theater. But the scene where they finally get to Tomorrowland, because I've been joking, like, when are they gonna get to Tomorrowland? And they get to Tomorrowland, and it's, like, this generic dystopian gray place. And, like, I literally just stood up, and I swore at the screen. I was like, this is stupid. And the guy, like, was like, yeah, this is pretty dumb. And I was like, this is the worst. It's so bad. That's gotta be, like, did God's Not Dead come out last year?
Oh, heck if I know.
I know God's Not Dead 2 came out this year. I'm trying to remember if I saw a terrible Christian movie last year, because if I did, that's the worst movie I saw last year. I don't think I did. Cool Cat I did see I didn't see last year, but it was from last year. So that'd be... Cool Cat would be the worst film of last year, but I didn't see it last year. Tomorrowland was the worst film I saw last year. This year, it's tied between Cool Cat and God's Not Dead 2. It is, like, a direct tie between those films. But, for movies released this year, I'm looking forward to this one. Because, sweetie, you and I are both Catholic. Columbine is getting a movie. Made by fun. It gets better. Made by the people who made God's Not Dead.
Oh, goody.
It's not a historical documentary or a historical drama picture. It is a full-on Christian propaganda film.
Oh, for the love of peace.
It focuses on the girl that is, like, the myth that says that she was, like, asked, do you believe in God? And she said no, so they shot her. It's been proven to be a myth. The girl did exist, but that moment didn't happen. It was somebody who was having strong emotions at the time and just kind of misremembered things, and it's debated if it actually happened. Other people have said it didn't happen. So it's kind of a debated topic, but they made a whole movie about it. And you can see the trailer. It looks horrible. It looks like a God's Not Dead movie. Like, if it had been called God's Not Dead 3 Columbine, I would have totally believed it. It's that bad. But it's coming out next month, and I am so excited to watch that one. I don't go to see, like, horror movies, I'm going to go see that. Because the thing is, some movies that I'm really happy about, like, one of my favorite movies was, a couple years ago, was The Theory of Everything. Great movie. Have you seen it?
No, I have not.
It's the reason I have a man crush on Eddie Redmayne. But
I ship it.
I mean, if I got Eddie Redmayne, that'd be great. But it didn't come to where we live, so I didn't see it until the year after. But it's my favorite movie of 2014. But I didn't see it until 2015, until Oscar season. And the reason it wasn't shown in Mississippi, where I live, is because there's a scene where Stephen Hawking is talking to this guy, and the line that he says is, "God is dead." Like, because he's talking about how science is disproving it. So it didn't get released here. Which really sucks, because it's such a good movie. And it's not one of those movies that, like, is questioning your religion. It's just to show this guy's life and the story that probably a lot of people in Mississippi might not know about Stephen Hawking, or the fact that Stephen Hawking is a real person. Like...
Oh, that hurts me.
People are stupid in Mississippi. 49th in education.
I hold no positive or negative feelings towards Mississippi. The opinions stated by Robin are not...
No, you can say it. Mississippi sucks. It's poorly educated. It's hot all the time. It sucks.
I've never even been.
So that if you want to come down here, there's some good food though. Like, but there's not some good. There's some bad people.
Good food, bad people.
Good food, bad people.
I'll stay where I am. I think I'm good.
And that translates to something I want to talk about. It happened yesterday, and I'm so happy that we're re-recording the podcast so I can tell you this story.
Oh dear.
So I work at my school. I am the school newscaster. I produce the show and I run it, which means I have to go to football games. And I was at one last night, our homecoming game. So it's really good. Like, everybody's really excited. By the way, we lost.
No, that stinks.
The first one we've lost all year. And we lost our homecoming. But I'm there, and there's another team, and I don't want to say the name of the team because then people are going to look up the schedules. But
right.
I went to the game.
We will call them the Fluffies.
The Fluffies. I was on the Fluffies side of the stadium because the lighting was better from over there. Plus, you got the shot of the football players in front of the student section, which was packed last night. So it was really cool looking. And I was really happy to be over there. And I'm usually allowed over on the opposite side. So the coach comes over to me. This is a huge guy, though. He's like 3 of me. And I'm not the smallest human being. But this guy's huge. And he walks over to me and he says, What are you recording for? Because I had a camera and I was just filming. And by the way, he talked like that too. I'm not even making up voices. This is actually how people talked to me. And I said, "Oh, I'm filming for the home team's news show." Like, I even showed it because I had a sticker on my shirt that had the school logo on it. I had a press badge that said my name, the name of the news show, and the school name on it. So, like, I'm good. Like, this is it's fairly obvious who I am and what I'm doing. And he's like, "Okay," and he goes over to the referee, and I'm assuming the conversation was, "Get this kid off my side of the field," and because the referee comes over to me like a minute later and says, "You gotta go, kid," and I'm like, "I'm behind the line, sir, like, this is how it goes every week," and he's like, "No, you gotta get off the side of the field," and I was like, "Okay," and so I'm muttering obscenities as I walk away, because I am 15 years old and a third your size. You can tell that I'm filming for the school. What is wrong with you? Like, are you threatened by me? Because I'm not going to talk to you. I don't like sports ball.
Sports ball, yes.
I support the Puerto Rico Nobodies for college football. There are people in my school who don't know that Puerto Rico doesn't have a football team. And that the Nobodies is not a real team. The Puerto Rico Nobodies is like... It's the stupidest thing, and people think it's real. But, I got so angry last night. Like, it was, I don't know why I'm that angry, but I just was, because it was like, I was there And, like, I have this problem every week where I'm just a little bit in front of the line, and so they're like, hey, you gotta get back off the line. I'm like, okay, fine, just don't kill me. Because you guys are twice my size. But it's... Oh, I hated that guy. The referee just was not even nice about it. He was like, you gotta get off the field, kid. It's like, okay, you suck. Like, I actually wanted to say that, but I didn't because, you know, I like being able to go to games for free. You have the best laugh, by the way, sweetie.
No, thank you.
It's just so happy. Like, every time you laugh, I'm smiling. I'm like, no, I'm angry now.
I'm sorry.
This is
sorry
why
to break the mood.
We can't record a crossover together because, like, if I say a line that makes you laugh, I'm gonna immediately break character. Like, I'll be like, this episode was horrible! Like, it's so bad it makes Superman 4 look good, and you'll just chuckle a little bit like, it's so adorable. Okay, I'm angry again! That's how character shifts go, by the way. But speaking of news and characters, Margot Robbie, Harley Quinn movie. Have you seen Suicide Squad yet?
I have, yes.
So, did you like Margot Robbie? I gotta ask this question.
Sorry, that's the actress who played...
That's Harley Quinn. That's Harley Quinn, yeah.
Yeah, she was alright.
Okay, now I have to ask this question. Did you see the marketing for Suicide Squad? Especially Hot Topic. I'm gonna throw Hot Topic onto the bus here. The Hot Topic marketing. Hot Topic marketed a lot for Suicide Squad. It was one of the sponsors,
sure.
Because you get a lot of DC stuff with there, and Hot Topic is a huge DC purveyor. But Hot Topic, the way they marketed the movie was like those relationship goals thing with Joker and Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
That was so wrong. Like, and I saw people getting like super outraged at the movie. Like, because they're like, the movie's gonna promote Harley Quinn and the Joker of having a good relationship. This isn't just against the comic book. It's bad. You know, it's bad storytelling. It's promoting an unhealthy relationship. This is probably really bad.
I didn't mind that so much. I mean, I didn't like the, like... I did find it funny. I'd find on Tumblr that people like, I want a relationship like between Harley Quinn and the Joker, and someone
that
was a
funny.
gif of the Joker throwing Harley Quinn out the window.
Yeah, that was how Hot Topic marketed the movie.
Yeah.
But like, I saw people getting really upset by this. And like, and I saw it like 2 days after it came out. I didn't see it Friday night. I saw it Sunday, just because I had some time there. And I got out of the movie and I was like, this is not what people were complaining about. Like, there is the movie makes it clear that this relationship is not healthy. Like, they're saying that even that the original cut of the movie was even more like, this is not a good relationship. So, like, it's just the marketing's fault, people.
It's mostly the marketing's fault. And like, the funny thing is, like, I did hear a bunch of people bitch about that, and then I saw the movie, and I'm like,
so that's like 5 minutes that's gonna have to get cut out later. Okay,
where
so
were we?
You were talking about, like, you saw the movie and it just cuts to silence, and that's where I heard you last.
Okay, well, yeah, because everyone was talking about the how the relationship was depicted, and I saw the movie, and I was like, that's not the problem I have with how Harley and the Joker were depicted. My main thing, like, Harley actually was better than I thought she was gonna be. I'm not gonna lie, went into that movie very skeptical. But she was better than I thought she was going to be. But there were a couple nitpicks, but the main problem I have is how they changed her backstory. They're minor things, like, for the most part, spoilers, but they do more or less keep the original backstory, but they add to it, and the additions aren't good ones, in my opinion, because they have it so that the Joker electrocutes Harley Quinn into insanity.
That was kind of wrong. That was stupid too,
for a lot of reasons, and the one main reason is it takes power away from the Joker, because the extraordinary thing about Harley's backstory is actually what it says about the Joker, that here is this well put together woman, and just by talking with this guy and falling in love with this guy, she goes off the wall.
That really did.
And that makes the Joker scary. That makes him crazy, powerful, manipulative mentally. Him shocking her into insanity, that's not scary. That's just he has tools at his
I could do that if I wanted to.
Yeah, like anybody could do that. But the him being able to manipulate her into a life of crime just through his own charisma and wit. That was scary. And they kind of took that away from him and her.
Yeah, and one of the things that I really love from the animated series episode is that they show it is kind of what she does it. She comes up with this persona and all this. The movie has, and again, spoilers, but it's been well over a month. We can talk about it.
Yes.
So the movie, like, they show her jumping into the chemicals. So that, by the way, the chemicals is a whole nother argument that just makes no sense. I was like, what is going on with these chemicals? Like, I get the visual representation of the colors representing her insanity and how it becomes her hair, but it just makes no sense. But it's showing that the Joker kind of performed the persona for her. It wasn't her persona. So, like, I don't know. That was one of the moments I was like, just like...
Yeah, I didn't like that chemical thing either because it seemed like they were trying to link the Joker and Harley. That was how he became the Joker, right? He'd some sort of
chemical
the magical insta-villain vat of whatever.
Vat of chemicals that gives you superpowers.
Yes.
That's how chemicals work in superhero comics.
That's how it works. That's how the Joker became who he is. So that's why, like, with the Joker, it's not face paint. His skin is actually bleached. But Harley Quinn painted her face. And it was very important that it was her choice to imitate what the Joker was. And not just him saying, here, do the same thing I did. You know? And also, it slightly annoyed me. But I was like, since when is blue part of Harley Quinn's color scheme?
I didn't mind that one because the comics now have had her with blue and pink. Like, blue's kind of become part of her color scheme already, so I wasn't like, oh, this is an outrage, it's blue now.
No, it wasn't an outrage.
I know it wasn't an outrage, but like, somebody probably did. It was like,
yeah, I'm sure someone raged. It wasn't me though. I was more like, why is there so much blue?
I kind of liked the different colors. Like, it felt more like the New 52 than the original Harley Quinn, but I wasn't expecting the original Harley Quinn.
I wasn't. They teased me. They were mean in the movie because they showed her in her Harley Quinn outfit.
You're talking about.
They even had her, like, when she got her stuff, she pulled up the jumpsuit, and I'm like, yeah, wear that. She's like, nah, I'm gonna wear booty shorts and fishnets.
The thing that drove me crazy was they're going to fight a literal god. They're gonna fight a god, and you're wearing booty shorts, and you have a baseball bat. Why were you chosen for this mission again?
I actually liked that her weapon was a baseball bat.
Oh, I like the weapon.
That's very Harley Quinn. Well, actually, Harley Quinn would be like a giant mallet. Her weapon of choice.
I thought the mallet was gonna be her thing, but the thing is, like, in universe, why did they choose Harley Quinn to go on this mission?
I know, right?
It's so dumb.
Because Harley Quinn, it seemed weird because Harley Quinn does not have a lot of merit on her own. Like, she's scary because of her connection with the Joker. Without the Joker,
she's just got a baseball bat. Like, every other member of the squad.
Poison Ivy, I guess. They were a cool team.
Well, I mean, she's immune to poison, so, like, maybe that was why, but they haven't established that in the DC cinematic universe. Like, but every other member makes sense to be there. Like, Slipknot has mobility. Like, he dies instantly, but, like, he actually has a reason to be there. He's got mobility on his side. And I just knocked over my bottle of orange soda, so that's not going to be good. But Captain Boomerang's got a weapon that you can really easily use. Deadshot's the best shot in the world. Rick Flag knows the mission and he knows what he's up against. Like, everyone else has a reason to be there. Except for Harley Quinn.
And Harley Quinn is there for marketing!
Oh yeah, she's definitely there for marketing. But it's better than Justice League Dark that we talked about last time.
Oh, dear.
Remember, like, there are only a few characters I'm actually excited to see on the big screen. Like, Constantine and Zatanna, and that's it. What was the name of the one? Like, it's something the Ghost, or it's great. I'm looking forward to Justice League Dark. I'm not. But, speaking of the DC Cinematic Universe, this is actually breaking news, or as in early this morning. Zack Snyder dropped a teaser image of the new Commissioner Gordon. It's one of the very stylized images that they did for Batman and so on, but that's J.K. Simmons. He's there. I can kind of tell it's J.K. Simmons. It's not very clear. Like, the image is kind of terrible.
It's cute.
It's a good image in terms of symbolism, but, like, for a first look at the character, it's horrible. Like, he's barely... it's so small. Like, even the Batman image, which I say is the best teaser image that Zack Snyder's ever made for the DC universe. Looks amazing. Like, it's Batman is front and center. You can tell he's there. You can tell it's Ben Affleck. The car is in the background, but that's not the big deal. It's seeing him in the bat suit for the first time. You can't really see Commissioner Gordon there. Like, the main focus your eye is drawn to is the bat signal, which we've seen before. So it's not as big of a deal. With the Batman image, like, I guess also because we hadn't seen any of that before, our eyes were drawn to Batman. They were like, oh wait, there's the Batmobile in the background. Oh wait, there's like these little teasers in the background. That's really cool. So that image works so much better than this one because this one is just too small of an image. Like, Commissioner Gordon's just this tiny little part of it, but the rest of it is just kind of blank space. Like, if they had gotten rid of the reflection and just zoomed it in a little bit, I think it would have been a much better image.
But the reflection makes it pretty.
It's a really pretty image. I will give it that. It is a very pretty image, and I'll probably have it on screen at this point. But the sadder thing is that there was another image that he released, which is himself in front of the bat signal, and it looks even better. Like, this was like in the same gradient as the Commissioner Gordon image. This would have been the better image to release. Like,
he looks so goofy.
Zack Snyder is a goofy individual. I also don't like him. I don't like Zack Snyder. I guess I should probably mention the thing from last week that we said. Not the too real part, but the last week the big deal was that the panels got announced for Nightmare Nights. I still haven't released who's on which panels and what day they're gonna be because I don't know yet. But MLP reviewing 3, which is my standard panel. It actually has its video done now. I finished that over last weekend. And MLR Live, which is the podcast that we've just rebranded to be away from MLR Live, but the panel's still called that, so we're rolling with it.
Don't ask questions.
Don't ask questions, but that's going to be really fun. We have a comic artist on one of those panels. We've got Keyframe on one of them. Zach, Toon Critic, is going to be on both of them, I believe. It's going to be fun. I'm really excited for the panels this year. It's going to be great. Like, and plus Hamilton references. Yes, lots and lots of Hamilton references. I think that the teaser image is probably going to be, or the teaser for the print is going to be, like, in the next 2 weeks. I don't know when exactly. It'll be probably my birthday is when I'll release the teaser image, because I like how it looks, and it's kind of cool. It shows off everybody fairly stylized. Also, somebody's drinking on it, so it's great.
Yay.
I love whenever we can get people to drink.
Not you. You're too young.
I want to drink, though!
No.
Orange soda for the win. Probably that's going to be the first podcast that somebody actually gets drunk on.
Oh, dear.
We're expecting somebody to get drunk on that podcast. It's going to be great. So I reread Cursed Child again for the second time? Second or third. It's really good.
It's really good.
I'm still not used to reading a Harry Potter book in script form.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
But I mean, I joked about this. The one good thing about that is that if I wanted to parody a scene from Cursed Child, I've got a script right there.
Yeah, there you go. Script done.
I don't even I can literally, because I also have a digital copy of it, and the program I use to read digital copies of books allows me to copy and paste from books, because it helps for, like, English and such. So, if I need something, I can literally just copy and paste something into my script, which is cheating. Oh, that's cool. Black and white version of Mad Max Fury Road is coming out soon. It's a special box set with the 3 previous films, and that is coming out... When is that coming out? December 6th. You will be able to get...
Just in time for Christmas.
Yeah, just in time for Christmas. You can get all 4 Mad Max films. It's called the Fury Road Black and Chrome Edition. Okay, that's actually kind of cool. So you'll get both versions of it. You'll have it in color and a black and white version of it. I actually might buy that, because that actually is kind of cool. And there's also some new stuff, like, there's a documentary about the original Mad Max, George Miller introducing Mad Max Black and Chrome Edition, him talking about his vision, And The Madness of Max, the previously released Mad Max documentary, is a feature-length documentary on the making of the words.
English is a thing.
Documentary on the making of arguably the most influential movie in the past 30 years, with over 40 cast and crew interviews, hundreds of behind-the-scenes photographs, and never-before filmed footage of the shoot. This is, without a doubt, the last word on Mad Max. Okay, that's actually kind of cool. I will probably buy this. Like, this looks awesome. I hope that... it does not say if they actually do have a regular version of it. But I've got the movie on DVD, so I can get that if I want to. But I do like the idea of watching it in black and white. That actually sounds really cool. Yeah, then again, cool. I could do that on my computer if I wanted to. I could edit it together.
When in doubt.
So I've gotten a lot of people asking about the Ben Affleck Batman suit, the tactical one. And granted, I know we just talked about the Commissioner Gordon outfit, or the Commissioner Gordon thing, but the thing about the Commissioner Gordon image is that it's something to talk about, because, like, it's actually a new thing, and you can talk about the design of things. The bat suit, the most I can say about it is it's a thing. And it's got goggles. Like, I like it. I think it looks cool. But this doesn't say anything about Justice League or about Ben Affleck's solo film. Like, this is not news to me. Like, it's just a new costume. Like, I do like reporting on this kind of stuff and looking at it, but it's just not a big deal, in all honesty.
This is one of those Batman costumes where I just want to put it side by side with the original costume.
Yeah. I've seen this kind of thing
West
before.
Costume and just be like, yeah.
Comic books are for kids. I hate that argument. I've seen that a lot now.
No, I'm not talking comic books are for kids. I'm talking about color palettes apparently are taboo in movies these days.
Yeah, that's not a problem with comic book movies. That's just a problem with movies in general.
With movies in general, yeah. It's not comic book movies. I just see it a lot in Batman movies.
Oh, Batman is always... Well, I guess
he used to be blue.
With the exception of... Well, the reason he was blue at the time was because it was easier to print that out than darker colors. Like, because people were actually complaining that Batman was too dark. So, like, parents were messaging DC and saying, he's too dark, you gotta make him brighter and, like, lighter toned. So they took that literally and made him brighter. And made him, like, a blue costume. Which is kind of funny, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm. Like,
because they wanted to tell more mature stories, but, like, they were getting complaints already after the Silver Age ended. I don't know. This costume is not bad. But
it's not bad.
It's highlighting a problem that I have with a lot. Basically, a problem I have with sometimes people asking me my opinion on things. And this is in no way to be mean to the fans. But sometimes I just don't know enough, or there's not enough things for me to talk about. Like, the podcast it's formatted so that I can talk about these smaller details that I haven't seen, or, like, there's very little information. But people wanted, like, videos about Guardians of Harmony, like, as it was announced.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about that is, they wanted My Little Robin episodes, not just, like, opinion videos. They wanted full-on, you know, in-depth coverage of this thing, like a 5 to 10 minute video about Guardians of Harmony, when there was no screenshots, no images, no trailer. Like, there's nothing for me to talk about. Like, all I can say is, it's a thing that exists. Okay, cool. Bye. Like, that's what I save the podcast for. Those are the stories I can tell on the podcast, because this doesn't change anything about Justice League. This shows that there's a new costume for Batman. That's about it. Like, there's not much I can really talk about when it comes to Ben Affleck's costume in the movie, because I haven't seen the movie. There's only one trailer, and I haven't talked about the trailer because I'm holding out on Justice League until it comes out.
Right. That's why I don't usually like to address, or for me anyway, address material before I see a movie, unless I do not intend to see the movie. Then I'll address the material before the movie, saying, this is why I'm not seeing the movie. But if I intend to see the movie, then I usually wait until I've seen the movie before releasing my opinion on it.
See, I'll every now and then, like, tweet about a trailer that I see, especially Comic-Con. Comic-Con is when I'm super guilty of doing this. where I'll make comments about trailers that I either like or dislike. Like, the Wonder Woman trailer when it came out, I was like, okay, I like this. It's not the best trailer. I feel like the action is a bit generic, but it looks interesting. So I'll like say those kind of small things, but like for Guardians of Harmony and stuff that I just don't know about, or that's so far off that I can't really talk about, or don't have anything, I can't release information or talk about it. Like, I won't make a video talking about the MLP movie until the trailer's out, or I won't talk about really on the podcast until there's substantial news for me to talk about. Like, I'm gonna see it. I've said I'm gonna see it because I like MLP. It's coming out the same weekend as Thor Ragnarok, and I need something to see that weekend. Yes. Because I refuse to see Thor. And we had a whole conversation about that last time.
Yes, we did.
But I think that's gonna be
funny because I'm the same way with the for the most part the DC movie universe.
Yeah.
Since okay, so I saw Man of Steel, horrible film. I didn't see Batman vs Superman. I saw the Batman vs Superman trailer and went lame and skipped the bejesus out of that movie.
Now, was it the first trailer or the second trailer?
Any trailer I saw.
The first trailer's good, though. Okay. Like, I'm gonna defend that first trailer. That first trailer got me hyped for the movie. I was actually excited to see it. Like,
I'm sure as far as trailers go, it was fine. It was the concept of the movie that I disagreed with. It was the idea, clearly, that they were trying to challenge the Civil War market.
Well, see,
and that it was a sequel to Man of Steel, which, again, I did not
actually,
like.
In all fairness to Batman vs. Superman, which I don't give much credit to Batman vs. Superman, it was announced before Civil War. Civil War was announced after Batman vs. Superman.
But you knew they were headed that way, though.
I kind of figured they were
as far as I know, Batman vs. Superman is not really a big thing in the comics.
It's been a thing in a while. Like, Dark Knight Returns did Batman vs. Superman. A bunch of comics have done a Batman vs. Superman brawl, because it's the most iconic comic book fight ever.
That's why it's kind of it's clickbait, basically.
Oh, it's clickbait. I will not deny it. It's clickbait. But in terms of ways to get people who gave up after Man of Steel, like, when this new universe started and they're like, okay, Man of Steel sucks, I'm done. In order to get people back into seats,
but what if
that's the best way to do it.
Yeah. And that didn't win me over. I was like, no, you know. But I actually was even thinking of skipping Suicide Squad. And the only reason I even thought about seeing it was because of Harley Quinn, and this was her first live-action movie appearance. And I even was gonna skip it, but then someone's like, let's go see it. And I'm like, oh, all right,
as long as they're paying for it.
Yeah, right. You're paying for it, fine. No, so we saw it, and, and I was like, okay, it was better than I thought, but I'm just not.
See, now I'm way more excited for DC movies. And this is how I get back into the trap and get my money screwed over. But it's Jeff Johns. And I put an immense amount of faith in Jeff Johns, because Jeff Johns is a good writer. He knows his material. He is Kevin Feige, basically. He is the Kevin Feige of DC. So I put a lot of faith in Jeff Johns to make Justice League and Wonder Woman good. Now that we're out of, like, the Zack Snyder-controlled mania that Batman vs. Superman, Suicide Squad, and Man of Steel was, which, yes, I know he didn't have much to do with Suicide Squad, but it was still under his regime, the previous regime of DC Cinematic Universe films. Now that we're past that, and Jeff Johns is in charge, I'm putting a lot more trust back into DC.
Well, I will definitely say that Suicide Squad was a much better movie than Man of Steel.
Oh yeah, it's so much better.
I can definitely say that.
It's just, Man of Steel was bad, but I wasn't, like, angry at it.
Because I think the reason probably you're not, and I might have been, is because a lot of people don't care about Superman, and so they tried to make Superman more like Batman that everybody does care about. And that takes away from what Superman is, and that's why I was upset.
That's why Batman vs. Superman angered me more, because it came after Man of Steel, which, and you're right on saying that they tried to make Superman more like Batman, so it made the idea of having the Batman vs. Superman story pointless.
Yeah.
Because the Batman vs. Superman story is not inherently a good story, because it's literally just friends fighting. But the way that it's interesting is because they're best friends with two very different ideologies that are but yet are very similar. Like, they're similar people, but their ideologies are completely different, and that's why them fighting is interesting.
And the funny thing is, like, as far as I was concerned prior to Batman vs. Superman, the interest between the conflict amongst the fans of Batman vs. Superman wasn't, like, I felt like very few people would say we're actually interested in the outcome of that fight, because, quite frankly, it all amounts to, does Batman have kryptonite or not? You know,
it
determines
really does.
the outcome of that fight.
Or does Batman have Zatanna with him? Like, the ways that Batman can win that fight are very small.
Exactly.
A, does Batman have kryptonite? B, is Zatanna involved? C, does Batman suddenly teleport them to a red sun? If those three options are not fulfilled, you're screwed.
You're screwed.
Game over.
It's not gonna happen. Like, even the most devout Batman fan is gonna be like, no. Like, Superman's gonna, beat him around the block. But the I felt the conflict that would arise in fans of Batman vs. Superman is who's the better character, emotionally, not physically. Because physically, Superman's got Batman beat, let's just be fair.
Yeah.
But it was about, like, who's the better character. And that's where Batman would win. That's where everyone would be like, oh, Batman's more interesting, he's more sympathetic, he's more edgy, blah, blah, blah.
I'm not in that camp. I think, actually, as I get older, like, and this is really stupid coming from a 15-year-old, but as I get older, I identify less and less with Batman being my favorite DC hero. Again, it's not my favorite because Nightwing, Tim Drake, and Dick Grayson are my two favorite DC characters. But in terms of Batman vs. Superman, the character I identify more and more with, and the one I like more and more as I get older, is Superman. Like, it's just... And maybe that's just me being idealistic, but I just love that kind of character now.
Yeah.
Like, it's something so pure and innocent about that.
Exactly.
And something that shows good in humanity. Like, All-Star Superman, at least right now, is probably one of my favorite comic books. Just ever. It's so good.
But that's what's the draw of Superman, is he's the purity. He's, he's the ideal to and a lot of people can't identify with that sometimes because it's to such a high extent. But it's like, he's the ideal. He's the guy that's like, anything is possible type of person. And when you try to take that away to make him more edgy, you lose what Superman is.
Yeah, it's just like, there was a moment where, and again, I'm going to go All-Star Superman, because, like, All-Star Superman, near the end of it, because All-Star Superman focuses on Superman is dying, Lex Luthor is killing him, like, all these horrible things are happening, but just, like, in the middle, in the scene that probably shouldn't be there, there's a moment where it goes back, and it has Superman, and there's a girl wanting to jump off a building, and Superman literally shows up and is like, no, you're worth it. And that scene every time gets me to cry, and I really wish it was included in the animated version, because it's just such a good scene. And it didn't have to be there, and that's why I'm gravitating more and more towards Superman as I get older. Those kind of moments are why I love Superman now, and he will still never be my favorite DC character. That'll still be Tim Drake and Dick Grayson. But Superman, in terms of, like, Justice League characters, has become my favorite. And it's, at least comic book wise. In terms of the shows and movies, Barry Allen's Flash from the show is the best character ever. And he's a beautiful cinnamon roll that must be protected at all costs. And I totally do not have a man crush on Grant Gustin. Always.
I ship it.
I mean, like, he was gay on Glee, and, I'll take it.
But no, the thing is, the funny thing is I am of the camp where I do like Batman a little more than Superman, but that doesn't mean I don't appreciate what Superman symbolizes, and appreciate what he is and what he means to the DC Universe.
Yeah.
And that Man of Steel took that away from him just to make a Batman clone.
Yeah, and I'm gonna not blame Zack Snyder for that one. I'll put that on Nolan and Warner Brothers, because Nolan had just gotten off Dark Knight Rises, and Warner Brothers was still riding high from that movie. Because that was a really successful film. And, like it or not, it was still a decent way to cap off the trilogy. So, I kind of understand that they wanted to do another Batman thing, but they just couldn't do that with Superman. And yeah, I also see the Batman. Batman also, I feel like I'm switching back and forth between Batman and Superman, but Batman is interesting because Batman while Superman is the representation of what we can aspire to be, Batman is the idea that we can be that.
Yeah.
Like, and the reason why Dick Grayson and Tim Drake are my favorite is because, while Batman is what we can be, Nightwing and Robin are what we can overcome, because they have the same backstory almost as Bruce Wayne, but yet while Bruce Wayne uses that to motivate his, he's always thinking about that moment, Dick Grayson and Tim Drake overcome that moment, and that's why they're my favorite characters, because they're just that awesome. Also, Nightwing Rebirth is the best comic book on the shelves right now. I'm definitely not paid by DC to say this. He
doesn't need to be.
I don't need to. It's great. It's a great series. Also, whatever it's called right now, Flash Rebirth is also a fantastic series. I've been reading both of those, nonstop. Corruption's such an old song that you can sing along in harmony, and nowhere is it stronger than in Albany. God, I'm sad.
No, you are Hamilton trash.
I am Hamilton trash. Yeah, it's... but I wanted Batman vs. Superman to be good. It was as... I was walking into that movie and I had heard it was not good, but I wanted it to be good. I walked in and I knew the Rotten Tomatoes score and I knew that nobody liked it, but my brain was like, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It was not. It was not at all. I've never been I never wanted to be so wrong in my life. I've never wanted to be wrong. I don't like being wrong. In all fairness, I like being right. It's a great feeling, right? You love being right. Right, sweetie?
Oh, absolutely.
It's great. And, whenever you're not right, you're like, oh, man, that sucks. But this one was one time where I was like, if I'm wrong and this movie is great, I'm fine with being wrong. I will gladly be wrong if we get a good Batman vs. Superman story. I'll take it. And then... Oh,
didn't it happen?
Then the movie happened. I don't like it. I really did not like Batman vs. Superman. It's not top 10 worst films of the year. I haven't seen as many movies as I'd like to see this year, in theaters or out of theaters. But man, I just don't want it. I really did not like it. Yeah. It's just bad. And it's bad because it hurt. It's the one film this year that just really hurt. Yeah. Oh, hey. Ghostbusters 2016 is back in the news. The DVD and combo pack are coming out. The digital HD is coming out September 27th. Day before my birthday. Cool. And the Blu-ray DVD combo pack DVD is coming out October 11th. And there is an extended edition if you want to see more. 3 hours of extra features. Alright, so here's all the things that come with the Ghostbusters one. Extended and theatrical versions. 2 hysterically haunting gag reels.
Oh dear.
It's gonna get worse. 4 unearthed deleted scenes. You mean deleted scenes, they're not unearthed. Okay, I'm gonna rant about this for a second. It's not unearthed. It's just deleted. The movie came out this year. It's not like it came out 30 years ago, but these scenes were just found in somebody's old closet or something.
Well, even when that happens, I always call their bluff as never before seen deleted scenes. I'm well, somebody clearly saw them.
Clearly,
somebody saw them before putting them in the DVD.
I mean, they've been seen, but not by the general public. So yeah, I understand that one, but unearthed? You don't say that unless the movie's 30 years old and you're just putting them on because you just found these old film reels that have extra scenes on them. And if you found that for a movie that came out this year, bravo! Okay, here we go. 11 totally possessed alternate scenes and more than 60 minutes of additional extended and alternate scenes with ultraviolet download. Okay, I gotta break that one down. Totally possessed alternate scenes. Okay, so it's like scenes that were already in the film that are just like different cuts of it. Let's say like if a joke is going on and it's just an alternate take of the joke. Okay, I get that. More than 60 minutes of additional extended scenes. So, additional extended and alternate scenes. So, I guess deleted scenes that were in the film for a while, or just alternate versions of a scene, like just longer versions.
Longer versions, I think, yeah.
Okay. With ultraviolet download. Here's where I'm confused. What does that mean?
I don't even know.
Like ultraviolet.
Like, I know they do the whole digital copy thing, but
like that's not a digital copy. That's an ultraviolet download because the DVD is 4K Blu-ray 3D combo pack with it. That would be the DVD, Blu-ray, and digital copy because that's what you get in the packs now. You get the digital as well. So I don't even know what that means. Oh god, it gets worse. 6 jokes aplenty alternate take reels. Why are there so many alternate take reels? Like, what does that mean? If that's the alternate takes, then what are the totally possessed alternate scenes?
I don't even
And
know.
what are the additional extended and alternate scenes with ultraviolet download?
Like, usually, most places will just put all of that together in deleted scenes and not specify beyond that.
Like, I've seen DVDs that do alternate scenes is one version, is one category, and deleted is another. Because there are differences. Alternate is just like a version of a scene that's either extended, or it's just a different take, or the lines are slightly shift. So I get sometimes those being separated, but why are there 3 different versions of alternate? Or there are 2 different versions, actually, there's 3 alternate, 1 deleted. Jokes aplenty, are those the joke scenes? Like, are the alternate scenes before that the action scenes? Like, what is the difference? I don't know. It gets worse, by the way.
Oh dear.
5 supernatural featurettes. Chris Hemsworth is Kevin. The Ghosts of Ghostbusters. Meet the Team. Slime Time. And I'm saving this one for last, but it's not the last one listed. Visual effects. 30 years later. Oh, we can talk about visual effects in the new Ghostbusters movie. They suck, is what actually happened. Like, I like how they're like 30 years later. You mean worse? After that, filmmakers' commentaries, and this is actually kind of weird. Photo gallery. Usually in these DVDs, you'll get like trailers. Like, I guess they're not gonna
No, I've seen DVDs with photo galleries.
But usually, I haven't seen those in, like, years. Like,
yeah, I'm like, yeah, my Harry Potter DVDs.
Yeah, like,
but, like, you know.
The DVDs from, like, 2000. Like, early 2000s, you get those. I haven't had a DVD in a while that had a photo gallery in it. Also, never mind. I can talk about that. That'd be a whole other rant about DVDs skimping on extras. Actually, for the most part, despite the redundancies of these alternate versions and alternate scenes, I actually like that there's a lot of stuff in here. It actually makes getting the DVD worth it. Because I've noticed that with newer DVDs, especially stuff like, my friend and I are huge fans of the show Miraculous Ladybug. It's a great show.
I love that show.
The DVD's horrible for it. Like, we bought the DVD for it. It's not even the full first season. It's like 4 episodes.
Oh, that's sadness.
It's 4 episodes on... no, wait. Was it the complete first season, or was it just 4 episodes? There are 2 DVDs. There's one that's only like 4 episodes, and there's one that's the complete season. But neither of them have extra features on them. Like...
That's sadness.
I really don't know why DVDs and Blu-rays are skimping now on deleted scenes and, like, all the extra features. Like...
Yeah.
'Cause...
And the ones that do have them, sometimes they're kind of stupid. Like, I've been, you know, like, I got my nephew a whole bunch of Disney DVDs, because that's what I do.
Yeah.
And I pop them in, you know, and the Blu-rays, and I pop in the Blu-ray, and I'm like, oh, what are some cool extra features? And they're like, you can have a karaoke. Or it's not even karaoke, it's just a typography of a song from the movie.
I don't hate those.
And I'm like...
But they're not as good as they used to be. Like, I don't
know why waste space on that when you could, like, put in, like, newfound extra features or so-and-so talk about, like, I'd rather see those, like, behind-the-scenes stuffs
Yeah, like, remember...
than a typography of...
Remember the 2-disc special edition of Lion King? That's gotta be, like, my favorite DVD. Except for maybe the... Actually, no, I'll retract that statement. The Aladdin 2-disc DVD special edition is my absolute favorite DVD of all time. Because not only did it have the movie on it, it had this games and special features...
Right. But they don't put games on DVDs anymore, by the way.
I missed those so much.
I know, right?
But, like, it also had trivia of the movie. It had it had these trivia questions. But the thing I always love, and I have this stupid tradition that Christmas morning, because I wake up super early on December 25th and never again.
As all people do.
But, like, I'll wake up at, like, 5 in the morning, and I still have my portable DVD player from when I was, like, 7. I have a laptop that I could watch this all on and watch it in HD, but I don't because I love that little DVD player so much. But I pop it in, and there's a show on there, and it was the Aladdin Behind the Magic DVD. It was a live show that they did, like, a couple years after the film released, and it was for animators and filmmakers, and they brought the animators, the voice actors, the artists, the musicians. It was this huge show that they did for these animators and upcoming filmmakers at Disney. And I love it. It's like all these little details of behind the scenes things. Like, it's so great. It even has all the old, like, reels of the original version of Aladdin, which was so different from the final version. It's great. I love it so much. I fanboy about this DVD because I want all DVDs to be like this.
Right?
Like, and I know, like, modern films and things that aren't re-releases don't have that kind of detail, but, like, I've seen DVDs without filmmakers' commentaries anymore. I see them without behind the scenes anymore.
And the thing is, like, what I love about commentary, my favorite commentaries on movies are always cast commentaries.
Oh my god,
those
they're
are my
so
favorite.
Funny.
Yeah, because they're funny. They're like, oh yes, this was the time when I stubbed my toe.
Yeah,
you know?
Like, if you listen to the Lord of the Rings one, I think Lord of the Rings had one, and it's like
Lord of the Rings is a great one.
Aragorn is like, I actually stubbed my toe during this take.
Yeah, I actually broke my toe.
And I'm actually screaming because that's what happened. I broke my toe.
That freaking hurt, yeah. That type of thing. But I've seen DVDs that don't have that. They're like, here, listen to the producers. I'm like, I don't care about the producers.
Actually,
they just threw money at the movie.
There's one that I will disagree with you on, because the producer-director commentary is that funny. It was for Finding Nemo, and I love the Pixar commentaries. They're great, and there's stuff I always listen to. Like, if I'm bored, I'll just listen to a Pixar movie commentary. Mm-hmm. But there's a moment near the middle of Finding Nemo, actually it's near the end, where the pelicans are happening, and they're joking around with Andrew Stanton, who's the director of the film, and they're like, Andrew, didn't you do the voice of the thing? Didn't you do some acting before this? And he, like, did this really terrible PBS special back in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, and they're joking about it, and you hear Andrew Stanton say the F word, but they bleep it out because it's a Disney DVD, but right. I swear the first time I heard that, I was on the floor laughing at this, because you don't think about, like, the people who make Disney movies as ever swearing. Mm-hmm. And I love the Disney commentaries, like, the Toy Story one that was made for the 10th anniversary was amazing, which they didn't make a 20th anniversary. I would have bought I don't have a Blu-ray player. I would have bought a Blu-ray player just so I could see the 20th anniversary Blu-ray of Toy Story, because the 10th anniversary DVD is so good. I got it in 2005 when it came out, and I was so happy to have it. It had new commentary, new footage, new behind-the-scenes stuff, the original, what's called the Black Friday reel among fans of Toy Story. Yes, there is a Toy Story fan base. And it was when they showed Disney executives this one scene, and they had to completely rewrite Woody's character. You can find it on YouTube, but I remember these things so vividly, like these extra little things on the DVD that made having a DVD worth it.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I'll just buy digital copies. Like, in all honesty, have given up on DVDs. Mm-hmm. And I hate that, because I love DVDs. Yeah. Like, I'm a collector. I love physical media. And
I feel like part of that is the only time you get, like, really good extra features usually is the extended cut or, you know, super duper box set where you have to spend hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
Then we'll give you good extra features.
I saw this. Oh, you go on this one, but
No, go ahead.
I saw this whenever Blu-ray became a thing. Like, DVDs started skimping out, and I was like, oh man, DVDs suck now. And this is when but there were still enough features that I was still buying DVDs or renting them. I did a lot more renting a couple of years ago because I just didn't have the money to buy DVDs. But at some point, it just stopped. Like, it would be, you'd get the DVD, it'd have the movie, if you were lucky, subtitles, possibly a director's commentary if you are extremely lucky, maybe a behind the scenes, but the rental copies, and this is why I stopped using Redbox, the rental copies stopped having them. They make specific versions for Redbox that didn't have anything. It was just the movie. There was no special features. You'd have to buy the DVD to get the special features. And that's why I refuse to use Redbox anymore.
Yeah, because I realized that too. I'm like, that's the stupidest thing in the world.
It's just, it hurt, because I would get the DVD for a day. You have it for 24 hours. You don't watch a movie over and over again for 24 hours. You, you go through all the different little features in it. You check out all the cool little extended cuts, or you'd play the games on the DVDs until they broke. It was awesome. Like, that was the thing I did with Redbox DVDs. I broke like 7 of them.
Oh dear.
Like, they stopped playing.
Maybe that's why they did it.
All my fault. I ruined Redbox for everybody.
We need to find a way to get Robin to stop buying Redbox.
Take off the special features, and that's what happened. I think my best DVD story, though, it's a modern DVD, too, and I'm actually still surprised by this. It was actually a re-release of the DVD, so it's not the original version of it, but the Star Trek 2009 DVD, the special edition of it, I got it was at a Walmart, like 9 o'clock at night, kind of wandering around, and we were at the clearance, we were at like this bargain bin, and it was just filled with these stacks of these special edition DVDs, and they were $5, and I was like, I'm picking this up, because I don't have it on DVD. I had a digital copy of it, because I had really stopped caring about DVDs. But I got it, and it's a great DVD. Like, not only is it great packaging, like, it has a slipcase, which I usually hate, but the slipcase is like purely white, and it just has Star Trek written on it, and like,
nice.
and it's kind of black, but when you look at it, you see it's Zachary Quinto, or on the other side, it's Chris Pine's face, and I love that kind of marketing. So when you slip it off, it doesn't have the title on it; it's just those photos that you see on the slipcase. So I'm like, that's really cool, and it's 2 discs, which is awesome. I love, because it also has the little flappy thing, which is my favorite thing in the world. I love the flappy thing. It's so much fun. I broke all of them when I was a little kid, but I love them. And it's 2-disc special edition. It's got 3 commentaries on it, one from the visual effects, one from the director and writer, and one from the cast, which I love. I always love the visual effects one. It's interesting to see how they did the visual effects, and like what was practical and what wasn't. They had the deleted scenes, the extended scenes, crap ton of bloopers. It had commentaries on the deleted scenes, which you never see, and that's why I really love this DVD. It's the best DVD ever, and at least modern DVDs. Like, in the last 5 years, I'd say that would, or I guess it was 2010, so in the last 6 years, that is the best DVD I've gotten. Is the Star Trek Special Edition, and you can get it for $5 at Walmart if they have this, like, bargain bin again. It's so good! Like, I don't know why more DVDs aren't like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
I think it's probably because, which is stupid, of course, but they're probably assuming that people don't buy them anymore, so why put the effort into it? But it's sort of like, but if you put the effort into it,
I will want them.
People will buy it.
Movie nerds love buying DVDs. Like,
yeah.
Like, yeah, there are movies that if we don't like it, or if we just think it's a decent film, we'll just buy the digital copy of it. I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of just buying a digital copy because I don't want a DVD, or I don't care about the special features. But, like, especially for fans, we will buy the DVDs because we love those little extra features. They're part of why you get the DVD. You get them to see all the crazy shenanigans that went into the making of the movie that you love so much, or to learn all the things you can.
Yeah.
Like, DVDs are the reason that I wanted to be a filmmaker, because I would watch all these extra behind-the-scenes things, and I'd be so interested in the filmmaking process that it got me to learn more. So
not even back in the day, I know this is before your time, the time of VHS.
Oh.
There were certain like, and this would only be in like classic movies. I'm talking classic Disney movies, like the '98 releases. After the credits, they
I know what you're talking about.
The behind the scenes special about the films, and it was just so inviting, and it was so, like, I would soak those up. Like, so many other of my friends are like, oh, well, the credits are up, let's turn it off. I'm like, no, the best part is yet to come.
It's like end credit scenes now. Like,
and they didn't, yeah, except it's like, oh, how to make Peter Pan fly, or, the magic behind Sleeping Beauty, that type of stuff. And I just ate that up.
I know.
And they don't even have that anymore in in Blu-rays. They don't even, like, sometimes they don't have that. And I'm like,
I think
what is this world coming to?
The worst one I've seen, and I love this movie, it's the 2011 Muppet film. And there's so many extra features on that Blu-ray. And I will never knock that Blu-ray for having special features. And there are some really good ones about the writing and directing of the film. The problem I have with it is that all of the cast interviews, like, that aren't the human characters, they don't show the puppeteers. Which really hurts, because I really liked learning about the puppeteers when I was a little kid. And we all know that they're not real, but they act like these characters are, and it drove me nuts. Because that was like something I really liked as a little kid, was especially the Muppet DVDs would show how they do this. Like, the Muppet Treasure Island DVD was really good with that. They showed, like, how the puppeteers got into position and how they did all these crazy shots. It was really interesting. Mm-hmm. But nowadays, they're just like, oh, they're not fake, look, they're right there. So I felt like, I'm cheated on this. Like, it's a behind the scenes, yet we don't get to see how the biggest part of the movie was made. Like, the puppeteering. That's the biggest thing that you can get.
I mean, there's keeping the illusion for kids, and then there's just robbing the adults of the truth.
Yeah, like, I felt like I was robbed. I was like, I don't know what to believe anymore. Like, and even the Muppet Treasure Island DVD did have, like, jokes about... Like, they would joke about the puppeteers being there. Like, there was one moment where it's like, it was... Because the whole behind the scenes was narrated by Rizzo the Rat and Gonzo, which was a really funny idea to do it. And they would, like, make subtle little jabs, like MST3K style, just jabs at the producers and the directors and the writers and the puppeteers. And there was one moment where it's like, have you ever wondered what that hand feels like? And I was like, that's actually really funny. Like, they were jabbing at themselves, but they at least acknowledged that they existed. The new ones don't want to do that. Also, I guess it's more DVD rant. Have you noticed that Blu-rays now have the, like, when you pause it, a little extra thing plays? Why?
I don't know.
Like, if you're pausing the movie, you're obviously not wanting the movie to be playing or anything else to be playing. Like, when we pause a movie, we'll usually be going to the bathroom or something. Like, we're not just pausing it to see what's gonna happen when we pause it. It's just... There are some really cool ones, like the Incredibles Blu-ray. And I remember these things being a thing for a while, but they stopped doing them. The Pixar Studio Shorts, which were really cool. One of them was in a pause menu. Like, you couldn't see it unless you paused the movie. And granted, it's a funny story. Like, it's where the Incredibles team refused to have birthday parties because there were so many of them, so that they had one party for a non-existent crew member named Gary. And that was it was like their way of doing morale. It was like, we'll just have a birthday party for Gary whenever we're upset. It's a really funny story, but you can only see it when you pause the movie. Like, why do you do that? And you can't pause those things. You can't pause the pause menu. I hate DVDs now. I hate Blu-rays and I hate DVDs. I love the picture quality, but I hate the special features. They keep on taking out them. Ghostbusters has like 3 different extended scenes. Actually, let me count these up. There are 4 deleted scenes, 11 totally possessed alternate scenes, that's 15, 6 Jokes Aplenty alternate take reels, so that's 21, with also 60 minutes of additional extended and alternate scenes with ultraviolet download. So that's a lot. That's at least like 30 or 40 different scenes. How much was cut out of Ghostbusters? Like, is that really that many?
Apparently.
I mean, I did not see Ghostbusters. I've heard good things. I've heard bad things about it. I hope it's good. Like, I'd be happy if I picked it up on Blu-ray and got those ultraviolet downloads and it was a great movie. I'd be happy with that. But, you know, probably I won't be. At this point, I don't care. I'll be seeing it at some point in the future. We should probably move on from DVDs because there is Star Trek news that I want to talk about. And Doctor Who news, actually. First thing, the Star Trek news. Star Trek Discovery. Have you heard about Star Trek Discovery?
Yes.
It's delayed. Again.
Yay. I mean, oh darn.
It was going to be in January, but it's going to be, but now it's in May. So we won't be getting it until next spring. Which, I don't know if I'm angry or not. Because the reason's actually good.
I imagine they had to do a lot of reworking because of Anton.
No, it wasn't with the new it wasn't with the reboot cast. It was with a completely new series. It's a new series. It's called Star Trek Discovery. It's not the old series. It's not the old movie cast. This is like they've already cast it, and it's a completely new cast. It's like Deep Space Nine, Voyager Enterprise. It's not like Star Trek and Next Generation where the movies and the show are the same thing. But I actually do like why they've said it, and maybe this is a complete lie, but they've said that it's to make sure that it is as good as they possibly can make it. So that's actually a good reason. But if you want to make Star Trek as good as possible, maybe you should put it on TV, CBS, instead of making me pay for a new subscription service just to watch Star Trek and nothing else. Mm-hmm. Like, I watch everything. CBS is actually a network I record a lot on. Like, I record the news on there, and I record The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Those are my two shows that I record on CBS, and it used to be Supergirl as well. Now it's on CW, but granted, that's still a CBS show. And with Supergirl gone now, it now being on the CW, you've got a Monday night slot, prime time, that you could fill with something, but you're not gonna put it on TV. You're gonna make the first episode TV and put it on CBS All Access and you have to pay for it. I don't like it. I'm gonna have to pay for it because I want to see how it turns out. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of upsetting that they aren't putting it on TV because it is CBS, and CBS and Star Trek was like the first science fiction show on CBS. Like it's
I believe so.
It's probably the first one, and it's what made original programming, especially science fiction original programming, a thing on CBS. So to see it just kind of dismissed out of hand is a little bit annoying. It's like, even the 50th anniversary, the day of, I watched the news on CBS, so I was like, oh, they're going to mention Star Trek's 50th anniversary. Nope! Nothing. The 50th anniversary of a show from their network, absolutely nothing. It got no news time. Like, the only thing I saw on CBS that was honoring the 50th anniversary was The Late Show with Stephen Colbert because George Takei was on there that night. Mm-hmm. So, like, is it sad when The Late Show is honoring something that the network should be doing?
Yeah.
Like, CBS This Morning didn't even have anything about Star Trek, and they literally report nothing. They don't break news. Charlie Rose didn't have anything on his show that day. It was like nobody wanted to talk about Star Trek. I felt really bad. But the Doctor Who news that I think that might make you a little bit upset, even though I know you're a 10 fan. But Eccleston, because I believe you're also a 9 fan, right? If I remember correctly. You like 9.
I don't dislike him.
He wants to do more now. He says he wishes that he didn't walk out on it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm in the too little too late department.
Yeah.
No, you hurt us. You can't come crawling.
But he was in an interview recently, and he was asked, like, do you miss it? Like, do you wish you had stayed on? And he said, yeah, I do. I wish I had done more about it.
No, what he should be wishing is that he wasn't a douche for the 50th anniversary. But
that I wish he'd come back for.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the fact that he only did one season, whatever, that's his choice. Him snubbing the 50th anniversary is like, you know what? You are dead to me.
The funniest thing about that is, like, did we talk about this in Day of the Doctor, in the Day of the Doctor crossover, that the... Oh, wait, you weren't a part of that. I keep on forgetting that you're not a part of it. You feel like you would be in that crossover.
It was one of those things where it's like, hey, we did a thing. And I'm like, I would have loved to be part of this thing.
I was not the biggest Doctor Who fan at that point when I was asked to be a part of it. I was familiar with the show, but not like... I hadn't seen every episode. I'd seen every season, as in at least an episode from every season. So I knew the show and I knew the material. But I was not the biggest fan of Doctor Who, but I was brought onto it, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna run with it then. But I was talking to Cam actually recently about maybe doing the Time of the Doctor crossover that we joked about. It's like, hey Cam, we should maybe think about doing that again.
Several years later.
Like, it's been 3 years, but I would love to come back and do another one. Like, if Cam talked to me right now and said, hey, I'd like to do the Time of the Doctor crossover, would you be interested? I would be like, oh yeah, sign me up right now. Let's do it.
Yeah, no, I'd jump on
Let's do one more. Like, but I'm looking at the photo right now. How many people would be gone from that?
Probably half of the cast.
Amale isn't around. Brony Dev, Rocky, Ellie would probably come back. Jim Fear doesn't do anything anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Not Brony Dance Party. Ben, maybe. Treble Notes is dead. As in, like, he doesn't do anything anymore. Voice just recently retired from video reviews. Toon Critic would probably come back. I would come back. Gibbon retired a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
Brony Buck would probably come back, I'd assume. ANY, I think he'd come back for it. I don't know if he'd want to, I don't know. I think he would come back.
I think he would come back.
And then Cam. So we'd have a lot of open spots, so we'd have to replace a lot of people. Yes. But at the time, for a while, that was the biggest crossover we had ever done, like, in the community.
Yeah.
It took the cake from A Lethal Halloween, which had aired, like, I think at the time we released it, it was 2 months old. It was like it was January or February, so it was about 5 months old. So we took the record from A Lethal Halloween. And I felt so happy to do that. I was like, well, I'm cool with us taking that record. Because Cam worked his heart out on that one.
Yeah.
Because I try to always, whenever I bring up Day of the Doctor crossover, I always bring up that Cam wrote it. Yeah. It wasn't us who wrote it, and he deserves so much more credit for Day of the Doctor. People are like, oh, Cam didn't do much in it. No! He wrote, edited the whole thing. Like,
that's sort of what I say when people talk about Nightmare Nights. They're like, yeah, you were in Nightmare Nights. I'm like, yeah, but that was Anthony's baby. He wrote it, he edited it, he, animated it and all that. I just said my lines. Like, and even that, he had to be like, say them again.
Like, in terms of my projects, My Little Robin is my baby, and that's my thing. And the project that we're announcing in October is my baby, but I will not take as much credit as I probably should. Because even though it's my baby, other people are working way harder than me on it. Like, I will gladly let them take more credit than me, because they are people that they would be people that deserve to take more credit than me. I'm just the guy who says yes or no on a thing. Like, that's my job on that project. It's to film everybody and make a rough cut of the project and then tell people yes or no, and if it fits with what I'm thinking. Like, and I feel it's kind of sounding like I'm just like, I'm not a part of the project, but I am. But it's not my baby. It's not entirely my baby. It's my idea that I'm getting people who are way more talented than me to make into a reality. So they deserve more credit than me on that one. Like, in all honesty, I'm just about as much... this is weird to say. I'm about as much as a part of that as the people who are just doing lines for it or just doing interviews for it. It's not as big a deal. Like, never thank me for doing anything. That is my rule on this project, is until it's done, and it's done for a while, you are not allowed to thank me. Because I don't want you to thank me. Because I don't deserve it. It's not fair that you should thank me for bringing people together. That's not my thing. You deserve more thanks. Everybody else deserves more thanks than me. Shut up. My name's on it. I don't care. That's the thanks I need is my name being on it.
Mm-hmm. Sort of how I am sometimes at my job whenever they thank me. I'm like, thank me with money. I'm doing this to get paid. Don't you be like, oh, let's give you kudos. Don't give me kudos, give me money.
It's not a give me kudos, give me money. It's a don't give me more kudos than the people who deserve more kudos. Because it's the thing about filmmaking that I've noticed is that directors and actors and even writers sometimes get so much credit and so much like, oh, you did so great on that, you did so great. And yet, like, there's so many people that you never thank and you never look at to do the film. And that's kind of my thing about that is I really don't want that to be my thing. I want everybody who did the incredible, like, the work on the project to get more credit than me, because I'm going to more than likely get more credit than I deserve on that. It's just how things... Oh my god! Jesus Christ, Twitter.
Oh dear, what'd you do?
Twitter gave me a beauty. This was going into 2 real categories, so this is actually helpful. It's Batman related too, so it's even better.
Sorry, yeah, I'm probably gonna have to go soon.
Yeah, we should wrap it up.
Yeah.
Okay, so... This has been the weirdest podcast since the last one that we recorded.
Well, you didn't want it to get real.
It kind of got real near the end, but not to the point where it was like yelling at each other. So
now, let's be fair. I was the only one doing the yelling.
Yeah, I know. This is why we're.
And I was simply talking firmly.
No, you were yelling. I was legit scared. But. Okay.
I can give you yelling, but I might...
maybe next week I'll be back with another podcast. It might also be 2 weeks from now. I don't know how the schedule's going to work out, but it'll definitely not be with Sweetie Bloom next time because we finally got this done. It's great.
Unless it gets corrupted again.
Wouldn't that be so funny if it got corrupted for a 3rd time? Either way, my name is Robin0928.
I'm Sweetie Bloom.
And we will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching.